Hello and welcome to beautiful Whitehouse Field here in Harwich, Massachusetts. Devin Dobek, Wyatt Kopelman along with you. Excited for a great ball game here tonight between the Harwich Mariners and the YD Red Sox. Mariners come in at the top of the East. They played one less game than YD, but hosting 16 points as well as a nice 8-game win total. 5 in a row for this Mariner team, Wyatt. YD comes in second place, 7-4-1. That's good for 15 points. Last Mariner loss came at the hands of YD when they surrendered 4 runs in the 9th inning. Hopefully not the same result here today.
Devin, the Harwich Mariners lineup has accumulated a great deal of run scoring, averaging nearly 7.5 runs over this 5-game win streak. But then you also consider how well Yarmouth Dennis's starting pitching staff has pitched. Its bullpen, rather, is at 1.6 of an ERA. Its starters at just over 5. That'll be a concern to watch here tonight for Yarmouth Dennis.
Shea Sprague gets the ball. Last time he started was against these YD Red Sox. He's posted a 3.86 ERA to go along with 4 2/3 innings pitched. 3 strikeouts to 1 walk and 5 hits. Let's meet the YD Red Sox batting order for Coach Scott Pickler. Leading off the second baseman, R.J. Austin. Batting second, the catcher, Will King. Batting third, the shortstop, Max Vieira. Batting cleanup, the designated hitter, Hunter Hines. Batting fifth, the first baseman, Jacob Christian. Batting sixth, the right fielder, Casey Cook. Batting seventh, the third baseman, Will Gleed. Batting eighth, the center fielder, Enzo Apodaca. And batting ninth, the left fielder, Nathan Archer. As we alluded to, the Mariners on a 5-game winning streak coming into today. They've been fantastic, earning wins against Orleans, Chatham, Brewster, Cotuit, and Orleans, all since that YD game that ended in a 7-6 walk-off loss. First pitch to R.J. Austin is in there, swung on a miss, 6 o'clock on the dot. And we are underway here from Harwich. Next pitch misses just outside, 1-1. Beautiful night here in Harwich after a really rainy and gloomy morning. It was pouring earlier this morning, and now a nice 73 degrees as this one's going to be lifted out in a shallow right field. Devin Obie a few steps in, and he's got it for out number 1.
Sprague, a pitcher who has really that fastball, he goes to about 55% as his primary pitch. His secondary pitches consist of a slider that go to about 17%, the changeup a little less than 9%. We've already seen the slider and fastball mixed in here.
Will Kingston, he'll be doing the catching. He's been old reliable for this YD offense all season long. Coming into today, hitting .333 as he lifts this one out to left field. On a line, but right into the glove of Kennedy Jones. And let's meet the Mariner defense. They are ranked second in the Cape Cod Baseball League with 8 errors and a .980 defensive efficiency. Left to right in the outfield, Kennedy Jones, Jacob Humphrey, and Devin Obie. Third to first in the infield, Kenny Lavari, Ali Camarillo, Ivan Arias making his Mariner debut, and Matt Scannell at first base. Brian Arndt will be doing the catching for Shea Sprague. New batter is Max Vieira, and he is a threat. You better believe that. Comes into today with 18 hits. That's top 3 in the Cape Cod Baseball League with an average of 400. This YD offense, something to really take note of. His count is 1-1 now. Hitting .269 this season. That's a league best. Harwich right behind them at .266.
Something to monitor throughout the start for Shea. Also the second time facing Yarmouth Dennis, as we alluded to. How his opponent batting average holds up. It's hovering right around .254 right now. He's already retired 2 quick here on just 5 pitches.
It's a ball and 2 strikes from the Elon man, native of Hanover, Massachusetts. 1-2 is cut on and fouled off. We'll do it again. Mariners wearing their home cream uniform. Says Mariners in navy across the chest with navy numbers, all trimmed in red. Cream pants, red hats with the Navy Mariner trident on it, and navy socks with red and white stripes. Red Sox in red road uniforms, royal blue numbers. Says YD on the front and royal as this one's chopped. Over to Sprague. He boots it. Going to have to make a tough play, and it's not in time. So that will be ruled an error against Shea Sprague. Was that close to a 1-2-3, but YD able to extend the inning.
Yarmouth Dennis averaging 6.8 hits in its last 5 games. Another team that's been hot with the hitting similar to the Mariners as of late. And that time Sprague was just unable to handle.
So Hunter Hines will dig in. The designated hitter comes in today hitting .333 out of Mississippi State. Also has 3 home runs. That's tied for the league lead. He's been fantastic in that cleanup spot for the Red Sox. Back to those YD uniforms, though. White pants with a red stripe on them. They'll be wearing navy blue hats with the White Sox-style Sox logo over the cape. 1-0 pitch, misses outside. It's 2-0. Sprague, a rising sophomore at Elon. Junior. 2 balls, no strikes. Out of the stretch, here's the pitch. Nope, they're going to go back to first. Take a look at Vieira. He's back in there with a head-first dive.
It's a big batter to face in the opening frame for Sprague. Hines, 3 of his last 8 with a double.
Vieira, also a big threat on the base paths. 8 stolen bases this season. That's top 3 in the league as well. 2-0 pitch is going to be popped into foul territory. Long run for Lavari over towards the Mariner. Bullpen makes the basket catch. Kenny Lavari showing off the speed and makes an acrobatic catch over in foul territory to end the inning. So, Sprague faces 4 hitters, no hits, but the error does get Vieira on base. So we head to the home half of the first to meet the Mariner order on the other side. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back, Devin Dobeck, Wyatt Coleman along with you, and let's meet the lineup for Coach Englert's Mariners. Leading off the center fielder out of UMass Lowell, Jacob Humphrey. Batting second, the shortstop, Ali Camarillo. Batting third, the designated hitter, Hunter Fitzgerald. Batting cleanup, the left fielder, Kennedy Jones. Batting fifth, the right fielder, Devin Obie. Batting sixth, the third baseman, Kenny Lavari. Batting seventh, the first baseman, Matt Scannell. Batting eighth, the catcher, Brian Arndt. And rounding out the 9 is the second baseman, Ivan Arias. On the mound once again for the Red Sox is Cal Steven. Same exact pitching matchup that we saw just over a week ago in YD. That outing, Steven surrendered 5 earned runs, 6 hits, 6 walks, and 4 punch-outs. That actually came back in his last outing in college. Native of Williamsport, Indiana, attends Purdue. Team high 66 strikeouts in 14 starts with the Boilermakers.
He'll be facing 8 right-handers here for Harwich. Steven, in his 2 appearances this year, 9 innings thrown, 13 strikeouts, just 2 walks. Harwich trying to get a quick work off of him here, try and get an advantage just to force him out of the stretch early, despite him not having to face multiple lefties.
Steven into the windup and the pitch. Misses up high for a ball. Humphrey, the only one with a run streak on this Mariner team, comes in with it at 4 games. Trying to extend it here. 1-0. Check swing. Yes, he did. So says Tony Letizio. He'll be the home plate umpire tonight with John Grosso at third base and Robert McHugh at first. A ball and a strike now to the Mariner leadoff hitter. And here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. Nasty breaking ball that time from Steven, and it's 1-2. Humphrey leading the ball club in a number of things, including strikeouts, unfortunately. He's got 13 of those. He's been hit by a pair of pitches well. That's tied for the team high. 1-2 is cut on and missed. Down he goes on strikes. First punch out for Cal Steven here today. That's been his bread and butter, even in his college days, and there's one away.
Strikeouts have been working well for Yarmouth Dennis this season. It's been part of its 1.4 earned runs on average over the last 5 games. The Red Sox have certainly not been granting of a lot of runs, and the Mariners are going to have to find a way to get on the board quicker than they did yesterday against a hungry hitting Orleans team.
So it's Ali's Camarillo's turn. Batting in that second spot tonight for Harwich. Swings and misses right through the first pitch. It's 0-1. Camarillo's been batting at the bottom of the order as of late, but now he's bumped up back into the 2 spot due to all the absences of Seaver King, Kalen Culpepper, guys that will be missed in this Mariner order. As the 0-1 misses up high, 1-1. Red Sox with a 1.19 whip coming into today. Edges the Mariners' 1.22 mark. 1-1 right down the middle, and it's 1-2. YD pitching staff, 131 strikeouts this season compared to just 92 for Harwich. They have been blowing away hitters. Ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. This is up high, 2-2. And interesting game last night for the Mariners. They were able to eke out a 2-1 victory despite being out-hit 7-5. Came against the Orleans Firebirds, who they're 3-0 against. 2-2 pitch is going to be rolled over to the shortstop. Going to be a tough play for Vieira on the run, on to first, and it's in time. Bang, bang play over at first, but Camarillo on the short side there. And so that will be out number 2, 2 up, 2 down. And let's meet the Red Sox defense. They are 7th in the Cape Cod Baseball League with a .963 fielding percentage and 16 errors. Left to right in the outfield, Nathan Archer, Enzo Apodaca, and Casey Cook. Third to first is going to be William Dub Gleed, Max Vieira, R.J. Austin, and Jacob Christian, with Will King doing the catching for Steven. First pitch to Fitzgerald, misses down low, 1-0. And the Red Sox defense hasn't been all that bad, despite, if the numbers say otherwise, just had a game in which they made 8 errors. That's a franchise record for them, just really abysmal, and that skewed the results for sure. It's a ball and a strike now to Fitzgerald, the designated hitter. Fitzgerald on a 2-game hit streak coming into today, and he grounds this one right up the middle into center field. First hit of the ball game belongs to Hunter Fitzgerald. He also has a team high now 12 hits. That's just 8 off the league lead. So he's been fantastic and tries to get the Mariners in business here with 2 away.
That's a huge opportunity for Fitzgerald, someone who has kept his confidence going throughout the lineup, has been in the DH slot, the 3-hole the past couple of days, and the Mariners just trying to force Steven to make them come to him.
Kennedy Jones's turn. He's got some serious power. First pitch to him is a breaking ball that misses for a ball. Jones does have a home run this season. That came on a grand slam he hit this past week. He also leads the club in doubles with 4. That's just 1 off the league lead. Steven takes a look over at first. Kind of a lousy throw over just to keep the runner honest. And so it remains 1-0. Steven coming set, awaiting Jones. And here's the pitch. That one slides right in there for a strike, 1-1. Jones coming off an 0-for-4 game last night against Orleans. This Mariner club had a tough night at the plate, with the exception of Devin Obie, who had a good game, 2 for 3. Just 5 hits for the lineup, though, top to bottom. 1-1 pitch. Bounced in the dirt, gets away. There goes Fitzgerald. King unable to recover in time. Looks like Jones just so happened to stay in the box and made it a little bit of a hindrance for King. And so down to second goes Fitzgerald.
Yeah, it's a wild pitch. King just not getting a handle on it quick enough. Fitzgerald read it well in the dirt. And Fitzgerald's now with a 11-game on-base streak. That's been a integral part in this lineup for him just to be able to get on, whether it's by the walk or the hit.
Runner in scoring position for Kennedy Jones. And the pitch. Big swing and a miss, and it'll be now 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 away. Jones does have 9 runs batted in on the season, looking to hit double digits with a swing here. Or no, he's already at 10, excuse me. Can add to his collection. As that breaking ball just falls off the plate, and it's 3-2.
Harwich has had issues with strikeouts over this winning streak, nearing 50. There's been 1 point of exploitation against their lineup.
On deck, Devin Obie, should we get there. Mariners trying to extend this inning, put together a little 2-out rally. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Down goes Jones. Second strikeout for Steven, and he's out of the mini jam. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and they leave 1 on. We head now to the 2nd inning. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners, a YouTube network. Five, 6, 7 for the Red Sox coming up here in the 2nd inning. Jacob Christian, Casey Cook, and Dub Gleed. Red Sox coming off a 2-0 win against the Brewster Whitecaps. They've won 2 in a row. A narrow 6-5 victory against Wareham was the first one. Before that, they lost a pair. So trying to extend their win streak with first place up for grabs in the East standings here today. First pitch to Christian, misses up high, 1-0. Beautiful night here in Harwich. As 1-0 pitch misses down low, 2-0. Really interesting game last night. It was the biggest crowd that's been at a Mariner game. 2,120 people reported that they attended that. Beats the opening day traffic by about 600. Of course, first responders night as well. 3 balls and no strikes to Christian. Also a game that took just 2 hours and 2 minutes. The shortest game this season by far, at least 20 minutes. 3-0 is going to be in there for a strike. It's 3-1.
Good job here by Sprague just to battle back, that time going with the fastball high.
Now the 3-1 is going to be popped up, foul territory. A little run over for Scannell, awkward angle at it, and he's called off, and it falls in fair territory. Ivan Arias called off Scannell, and the ball falls into right field for a cheap base hit for Christian, and so the Red Sox have the leadoff man on.
Just seemed like they missed communication that time. You saw Obi starting to shade in from right field, but that was really a catch to be made either between Arias coming in from second or Scannell. And there's still nobody out here. And as a pitcher, you want that play to be made, regardless if you're trying to go for 5 innings of no hits or just 5 innings of no runs.
Casey Cook digs in, the right fielder, trying to move around Christian. First pitch from Sprague is right down the middle for a strike, 0-1. Casey Cook, 6'0", 190 pounds, North Carolina Tar Heel. As this one's grounded up the middle, over to Arias, on to Camarillo for one, over to first. It's a 4-6-3 double play to pick up the mistake made by Arias, and so there will now be a quick 2 away.
Good recovery that time by Arias at second. The Mariners now have 9 errors on the season, that one not being an error. It hailing back in the first instead with 2 outs. Now the bases are clear here to make it a little bit clearer to face Dub Gleed.
Dub Gleed, the third baseman, comes and steps in. It's 1-0 to start him. This season, Gleed comes in hitting 167. That's just 2 for his first 12. Still getting home here in the Cape as it's 1-1. Big swing and a miss at that pitch. On deck, Enzo Apodaca. And the 1-1 is cut on a miss. Another big swing, but this off-speed pitch is falling off the table. And so it'll be 1-2. The next pitch. Checked his swing. Yes, he did. No. Oh, I jumped the gun there. I mean, the bat was almost all the way around. I'm not sure what Robert McHugh saw, but definitely not close in the Mariner dugout. Not pleased. Count is 2-2. I didn't even think there was a need for an appeal there. As now a 3-2 count. Yeah, he absolutely went around Wyatt, but unfortunately bad break for the Mariners. Put it in the karma jar and try and pitch through it now. Payoff pitch coming to Gleed. And it will be rolled over to Sprague. Awkward play on the pitcher's mound. He fires on to first, and that's out number 3. So he faces the minimum despite a leadoff single into right field by Jacob Christian. We head to the bottom of the second. No score here from Whitehouse. We'll be back. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Obi Lavari Scannell, 5-6-7 for the Harwich Mariners. Still in a scoreless ball game here. A hit aside and an error credited to Shea Sprague. That's the only thing we got for the box score. Devin Obi will step on in. Great game for him yesterday. 2 for 3. Only player with a multi-hit game for Harwich last night. As Steven comes set. Long look in and the pitch. And Obi lifts it way up in the shallow left field. Coming in is Archer, and he makes the play out by the foul line for out number 1. 1 pitch, 1 out.
You get 1 hit through your first 5 drawn to the plate here for Harwich. You already have to feel a sense of urgency. You get that game-winning home run out of Brian Arntz, his first extra base hit last night. But those kind of at-bats, they only mean so much at certain points of the season. The Mariners getting about 59% of their total runs on the season through this 5-game win streak, and they certainly don't want to have to wait to a similar point last night to get on the board.
Will King having his pitch comm worked on. This sounds familiar. And so he'll trot back towards home plate, discuss something with the umpire, and we shall see. Everybody's still taking their time. Tony Letizio puts the notebook back in his shirt. And so we're back. Kenny Lavari digs in. Lavari on the season comes in hitting .227 out of Old Dominion. Pair of doubles for him. He's also got an on-base percentage at .452. He's been a menace to the walk department. 9 for him this season. Count is even at 1-1. On deck, Matt Scannell. Mariners looking to push for some offense here in the second inning. The pitch. Breaking ball just misses outside. It's 2-1. Mariners at the top of the East. Trailing is the Red Sox just by a point. Granted, they've played an extra game. After them is Orleans, who's 6 points behind Harwich. Brewster, who's also 6 points. And Chatham, who's 9. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Lavari. Steven comes set at the waist, into his windup, and the pitch. Bounced in the dirt, 3-2.
Kenny Lavari has certainly improved upon his plate discipline. We'll see how far he can take Steven here.
Pretty funny that these teams still have the same pitching matchup from just a week ago. Payoff is going to be fouled back, and we'll do it again. Mariners took the first matchup against the Red Sox 4-3. That was all the way back on opening day in a game in which the Red Sox once again gave Harwich a run for their money all the way into the 9th inning. And the Red Sox were able to score 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th to win 7-6 in the last meeting. As that one runs inside, Kenny Lavari works a walk. And so he'll be the second base runner for Harwich tonight with 1 away.
He's been someone who's accumulated plenty of on-base streaks here this season, albeit it's only 11 and change into this one. Lavari has done a good job of just finding ways to get on base, and that's what the Harwich Mariners need, despite only leaving 7 on base last night. They were a victim to a lot of strikeouts, and Lavari went against that there.
Matt Scannell's turn. First baseman comes in with 12 runs batted in, 2 off the league lead. Held it for a moment as he fouls that one back over the press box. It's 0-1. Scannell hitting .250 on the season for the Mariners. That's 8 for his 32 ABs he's recorded. Also has an on-base percentage of .368. Of course, scored the winning run after being put in as a pinch runner against the Chatham Anglers the other night. 0-1 bounced in the dirt. Nice stop by King to knock it down. And it's 1-1. Brian Arndt, the hero from last night, awaits on deck. Back-to-back games for him as the starting catcher. Andrew Yu with yet another night off. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Up high, makes it 2-1.
Saw Sprague have a little bit of control issues with that slider with 2 outs last half inning. We'll see how Steven responds here.
Two balls and a strike to Matt Scannell. And the pitch. There goes the runner, and Lavari, it's a hit and run. Knocked down, really nice play by Christian. Flips on to first to get the out. Wow. Looked like that was going to get through thanks to the stolen base attempt before flashing over was Christian to make a really nice play back to his pitcher in Steven on first. Lavari does advance down to second, but now there's 2 away.
Just noted how Steven Went deep into that count there. And in addition to Lavari walking him on a payoff pitch, that's certainly confidence-inducing as a pitcher. High strikeout reliance. But now he has to face Brian Arndt, someone who started to heat up on the hitting side of this lineup.
3-game hit streak, 7-game on base streak for him. Leads the team in batting average at .348. That's almost 200 points better than his mark last season with Harwich. He's been fantastic as breaking ball gets through King. Down over to third goes Lavari standing up, and so the Mariners 90 feet away from getting on the scoreboard.
It's just not the sharpest fielding team in Yarmouth Dennis. Not a top 5 fielding percentage team at just .963. 16 errors entering today. Catcher King has to be a bit sharp, especially with the run 90 feet away.
And this has been Brian Arndt's spot all season early on. We're 25% of the way through the season, but he has been fantastic with runners in scoring position. 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Tough call. Arndt wants some clarification on where that was, and it's given to him by Letizio. Ball and a strike. As coming set is Steven, and the pitch is going to be popped up. Foul territory. Should be room. Going back is Christian. Another awkward play. Did he make the catch? Yes. A collision between Cook and Christian. What a job by Christian to hang on to that baseball, battling both the son and his teammate coming in. And it's a well-earned out number 3 for the Red Sox. We head to the third frame. Still scoreless in Harwich. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. We welcome you back. Top of the third inning here. Devin Dobek, Wyatt Kopelman along with you. Enzo Apodaca, Nathan Archer, and RJ Austin do up for the Red Sox. That's 8-9-1. Still in a scoreless game, a hit aside, but pitching duel nonetheless early on. Sprague out there for his third inning of work. First pitch is popped up, foul, and out of play near the seats. Zone 1. Beautiful night in Harwich, as I mentioned earlier. Just above 70 degrees, a very light breeze occasionally, partly cloudy, and plenty of fans surrounding all parts of the field. Beautiful night for baseball, especially with all the kids coming out of school, and now everybody finds themselves at the ballpark.
And they're finding themselves at the ballpark for some world-class pitching duels as well.
0-1 is a breaking ball that catches the outside corner, make it 0-2.
These two pitching staffs for Harwich and Yarmouth Dennis in their wins last night combined for 27 strikeouts.
0-2 pitch is going to be fouled back right at us. And so we'll do the 0-2 again. Mariners trying to knock off the Red Sox for the second time this season. The two have split the first two meetings early on here. 6 total meetings between all divisional opponents and 4 for the out-of-division opponents. 3 games at each ballpark in the East and 2 games at each ballpark for the West. It's a ball and 2 strikes. The waste pitch goes high. Sprague checking the pitch com. Now comes set on the mound. Kicks and delivers. Breaking ball is going to be lifted into foul territory. Long run for Scannell, and he drops the basket catch. A tough play. Hit him in the glove, but between the bullpen, the fence, and trying to track the baseball, a really tough bid. So back to the mound goes Sprague to try and retire Apodaca. Apodaca on the season hitting .321, 9 for 28. As this one is in there for strike 3. That will be the first strikeout of the ball game for Shea Sprague. And there's one down here in the third.
Slider has had its presence tonight here for Shea Sprague after what looked to be a converted catch by Scannell. That would have arguably been also made over the shoulder as well. But when you're fighting off the sun, you almost have to take it as it is either way. And either way being a basket catch or a shoulder catch, but it had been a really tough play nonetheless.
9-hitter Nathan Archer digs in, hitting .333 on the season for Scott Pickler's Red Sox. That's 9 for 27. He's 0-1 on the count. Top of the order, and R.J. Austin awaiting on deck. 0-1 pitch from Sprague. Breaking ball that is chopped foul off to the right. And so it'll be 0-2. Bunch of games around the Cape Cod Baseball League tonight. We'll get you some scores in just a few moments. Whitecaps traveling to play the Braves at Doran Park. Katuah taking on Wareham. 0-2 pitch. Swung on a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts. Archer was completely fooled, and he accepts it. Back to the dugout he goes. There's 2 away.
Sprague has done a great job thus far of inducing a lot of ground ball contact. He had the 4-6-3 double play. He had a line out, a fly out to start the first, and he's finally getting the strikeout to go, mostly from that predominant slider.
Hyannis in Orleans had their game rescheduled to July 3rd. And you got to think with that hill at Orleans, everything just funnels down to the field, and it's probably soaked from this morning. So they probably had to push that date. This game was pushed back a half an hour. Originally a 5:30 anticipated start, now starting right at 6. 1-0 pitch is going to be in there for a strike to R.J. Austin, 1-1. Sprague back into his windup and the pitch. Breaking ball missed for a ball. Close pitch, might have been a little high coming in, and it's 2-1.
It's the time where you need 2 more strikes here. Strike out the side, be arguably your best of the inning, or the year rather.
2-1 is cut on a miss, make it 2-2. Falmouth also taking on the Chatham Anglers at Veterans Field. That game set to go in 24 minutes as 2-2 misses down low. Sprague thought he had it, was halfway off the hill. I'll have to return and throw another pitch with the count full.
Tough one to lay off of there. Really tough.
No scores in any games. The payoff just misses inside. A really nice walk worked by R.J. Austin. And so 1 on with 2 away for Will King.
Austin flew out in the right field back in the first, and that's the first walk of the day, and it went all the way to the brink that time against Sprague, who's done a really good job of mixing in that slider to full batters rather.
Will King, the uncommon strategy of using no batting gloves. Also a little choked up on the knob of that bat. Fouls that one off his leg. That didn't feel good, but he appears to be okay. It's 0-1. Will King, 5'9", 195 pounds out of Eastern Kentucky. He led his college ball club with a 346 batting average and 21 multi-hit games. 47 runs batted in his 45 starts at catcher and DH. As pickoff attempt, very close play. Sprague once again thought he might have had the runner in Austin. No balls and a strike to King. Lefty on righty matchup. And another pickoff attempt. They almost got him again. So RJ Austin appears to be tipping that he's going. Austin on the season does have 3 stolen bases, has not been caught yet. So absolutely a threat to run, but so difficult to do on a left-handed pitcher. That one misses up high, and it's 1-1.
Cincinnati Reds 12-game win streak is on the line here tonight against Atlanta, trailing 7-4. Jonathan India, the former Harwich Mariner of the Reds, 0 for 3 the last time I looked just now.
A ball and a strike. The pitch. Misses low, 2-1. You can tell Sprague's trying to change his cadence out on the mound so that Austin can't get a good jump if he elects to go. Tangles that left arm in. Now comes set, crosses that right foot over. And a pickoff attempt. They got him in a rundown. Ball almost thrown into center field, and Arias will just apply the tag. Harwich will take the out. Or maybe it's a balk call. Yeah, they did call a balk on Sprague. So the runner will be safe down at second in Austin.
Yeah, Steve Anger's going to have a word about that.
And Angler definitely wants an explanation, as instead of the inning ending, balk called, and 2 balls and a strike, still the count to King.
And if I were him, I'd probably be arguing that the actual caught steal occurred first before the balk. But it looks like he's going to live with the resolution. He said it's going that close for the balk occurring in the midst of that caught steal.
So, King with an RBI opportunity here. 2-1 is bounced in the dirt. Able to stay in front of it is Arndt, and count now 3-1. On deck is the ever-dangerous Max Vieira. Going to have to pay attention to his at-bat. He is always a threat. 3-1 pitch. And it's going to be fouled off, and it's worked full. Will King doing a great job to stay alive. Sprague tucking that right glove under his chin. King trying to change his approach here with 2 strikes. Payoff pitch coming. There goes the runner in Austin. It's fouled off. Austin, definitely an aggressive base runner, trying to take third there. If it was ball 4, Arndt would have had a look down at him at third base. King flew out to left in his first at-bat. That came back in the first inning. Another payoff coming. And it's going to be lifted into right field for a base hit. Long run for Obi, rounding third and scoring easily is Austin. Obi's throw in is cut off. It'll be a long single for Will King, but that breaks the scoring for the Red Sox. It's 1-0.
King has been a pleasant surprise for this Yarmouth Dennis lineup. Started as a temp. He actually made a name for himself pretty quickly. 12 games, he has a .333 batting average, and he cashes in there, gets Yarmouth Dennis on the board.
So the balk does become costly. Instead of it being an ending pickoff, turns into a run driven in. Now it's Vieira's turn. He reached on an error back in the first. First pitch misses way up high, and it's 1-0. between Sprague and Steven, they work much more methodically than the pitchers we were able to see last night. Both Avitia and Armstrong, and then Moza later on, as this one's chopped foul to make it 1-1. On deck, Hunter Hines, so just more trouble in store if Sprague's unable to get out of the inning here with Vieira. 1-1 is going to be line foul over towards the Harwich bullpen. Couple pitchers stretching out. They didn't even realize it was headed right their way. So it'll be 1-2.
Try to get him with the changeup low that time. Vieira did a good job just sitting on it, but just a little bit early that time. And there would have been runners on the corners for sure.
Ball and 2 strikes. And the pitch. Breaking ball is chopped over to Camarillo at short. He has to make a throw on the run, and it's in time. Camarillo working it over to first base. A big out number 3. And that retires a side. But Will King drives in R.J. Austin thanks to a 2-out rally provided by the Red Sox. 1-0. And we head to break. Mariners coming back up. You're listening to Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Bottom of the 3rd inning, Mariners trail by 1 to the Red Sox. Ivan Arias digs in out of Boston, Massachusetts. Attended Dexter's Southfield and now attends Dayton University. Played a few games for the North Shore Navigators in the New England Collegiate Baseball League. Made 3 appearances for them and now traveling to Harwich to play with the M's. First pitch to him, in there for a strike. It's 0-1. Big shoes to fill over at second base with the absence of Seaver King. We'll see if Arias can make his presence known and felt here by the Harwich faithful. 1-1 is going to be off the end of the bat. Awkward looking pitch, and it's going to be an infield single for Arias. That ball was tailing right, and so Steven elected to go to the bag. Then it came back left, and so he went for the ball. There was no one to cover the base, and it's an infield single for Ivan Arias.
Haven't seen the hardest hit ground balls here today. The Mariners need to find ways to get on base soon. They've only left 1 on in each of the last 2 innings. And they've been a slightly strikeout prone, but they really just need to find a way to look to Jacob Humphrey after a strikeout as well.
Humphrey's turn, as you mentioned. Also leads the ball club in stolen bases with 4. Pickoff attempt is back in there safely as Arias. Humphrey struck out back in the 1st. Looking for a base knock here to get a little rally going for the Mariners. They trail 1-0 here in the 3rd inning. pitch is big, swing and miss at the off speed. Humphrey behind 0-1. Ali Camarillo's on deck, followed by Hunter Fitzgerald. Chance to do damage here as we flip the lineup card over for the first time here tonight. Arias, a moderate lead off first base. And the pitch. Snap throw by King. Back in there is Arias, but a close play. Good bid that time. Arias this past season played at Vanderbilt in the SEC. And here comes the 1-1 pitch now to Humphrey. Breaking ball in there for a strike. It's 1-2. Jacob Humphrey, the UMass Lowell Riverhawk, comes in hitting just 200 into today. Been in that leadoff spot more often than not for Harwich. 1-2 pitch. In there for strike 3. Humphrey is rung up and he's sent packing for out number 1.
And it may have seemed high, but if you're Humphrey, you know you have to protect. At the very least, you could have swung on and fouled it into foul territory, if not for a flyout. You need to get that runner in a scoring position now.
Camarillo grounded out to the shortstop in Vieira back in the first inning. Harwich offense is due for some run production. Scoring just 2 runs the other night. That's their lowest in like 7 games. 1-0 to start Camarillo. Arias a few steps off first base. He's checked down by Cal Steven. 1-0 pitch. Misses up high. King another back pick over to first. Back in there safely is Arias.
For his size, he brings a lot of speed, but clearly just a tad late on that back pick, was able to get in just in time.
One away here in the third. Mariners trailing by 1, but have a runner on in Arias. The pitch. Swing and a miss. That breaking ball is just so nasty. It drops both vertically and horizontally throughout its sequence. Top of the zone to the bottom. And so it'll be 2 balls and a strike to Camarillo. Takes another look over at first base. Arias back in there safely.
Starting to turn into a repeat sequence out of last time when Steven got the start here on opening day. Had 7 strikeouts through 4 innings.
That pitch runs inside. So it'll be 3-1. Steven does have 3 punch outs, including the last hitter in Humphrey. He's actually accounted for 2 of the 3. Camarillo not trying to be the 4th. 3-1 count coming. And it's in there for a strike, 3-2. Mariner offense still a little quiet, just a pair of hits through 2+ innings. Not on the scoreboard quite yet. Arias, another couple steps off first. And they'll take a look over at him. He's back in there safely. Getting his steps in absolutely off of first base. Back in fourth they go. Steven, another pickoff attempt. And so it'll remain 3-2. Bit of a slower start to the ball game despite not a whole lot of offensive activity from either side. Payoff pitch is going to be popped up in the infield. Steven calling for it. Arias going to have to retreat back to first. The throw is there in time. Not sure what Arias was doing. Might have been going on the pitch, but he is doubled up. And that will end the inning. We head to the middle third of the ball game. Still 1-0 YD. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Top of the fourth inning, Sprague back out there for his fourth inning of work and turning play-by-play duties over to Wyatt Kopelman. I will be doing for the next 3 innings. Wyatt, take it away.
Well, Devin, the Mariners face an early 1-0 lead for a second straight night as they look to extend their win streak to 6 here. Shea Sprague, the Elon product on the mound, deals first pitch changeup for strike 1 here to Hunter Hines. 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up here. Now a slider cut on a miss, 0-2. Yarmouth Dennis getting its lone run of the game back with a 2-out RBI single from Will King back in the third. Meanwhile, Shea Sprague looking for a strikeout here. That slider misses high. It's 1-2. Hines, the sophomore of Mississippi State, went 2 for 3 with a pair of RBIs and a walk in a 2-0 win against Brewster. There's the swing and a miss. The slider having Hines out in front as a 6'3", 210-pound first baseman is down on strikes for the first time here today, and Shea Sprague has his 3rd strikeout today.
Yeah, he's got to find a way to settle back in after the 2-out rally the Red Sox were able to put together in the 3rd inning.
So that draws in Jacob Christian, sophomore of Point Loma Nazarene, San Diego, California native. Led off with a base hit to right field back in the 2nd after finishing his 2nd season at Point Loma with nearly 25 multiple hit games as he chops this one over towards the left side, a bouncing ball for Lavari, and he makes the play in time for out number 2 here. 2 up and 2 away in the 4th.
Nice quick start for Sprague. If he can get that pitch count to remain stagnant and not be skewed as he had to pitch his way around 5 hitters in the 3rd, he could lengthen his outing. We saw him go 4 innings against the Red Sox, or into the 5th, actually. We'll see what he can do this time, trying to match that same longevity, if not exceed it.
So here's Casey Cook, North Carolina outfielder. Earned all ACC freshman team honors after 66 hits. As he watches the slider outside to make it 1-1. Grounded into a 4-6-3 double play back in the 2nd. 2 hits apiece for Harwich and Yarmouth Dennis in their 3rd meeting on the season. Big cut that time. It's 1-2. So Sprague won't be able to strike out the side, but he can send Yarmouth Dennis down in order for the first time here today. Swing and a miss. It gets away from the UNC Wilmington Seahawk in Arts. He throws down to first. And it is indeed a 1-2-3 inning here as Sprague gets a pair of strikeouts, a ground out, as the Mariners look to get back on the board and on the board for the first time in the bottom of the 4th here at Whitehouse, trailing 1-0. 2 hits apiece. We're coming back at you here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Nothing across for Yarmouth Dennis to start the fourth here. Wyatt Copeland, Devin Doback here with you on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Hunter Fitzgerald, Kennedy Jones, Devin Obie due up with the Mariners trailing the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox 1-0. Their second time hosting the Red Sox here at Whitehouse Field this season. Fitzgerald coming back up after a single to center field with 2 away back in the first. Facing Cal Steven still here in the fourth. Both pitchers here tonight in Steven and Shea Sprague from Elon, who you just saw a half inning ago, already combining for 7 strikeouts. 1-0. Skied into left field. Archer moving under. The Bowling Green product makes the catch. And the leadoff man is gone here for Harwich. Well, Devin, that is 3 straight retired and 5 of the last 6 here for Steven. Cruising similarly last time. He was very strikeout reliant here on opening day against this Harwich lineup. And it's a lineup that does not have Seaver King nor Kalen Culpepper anymore due to their absence for their Team USA commitments here. It brings up the South Carolina product in Kennedy Jones. Dynamic pitching matchup here today. Jones trying to get Harwich its 3rd hit on the ball game. First, it's 2-0 here. The former UNC Greensboro outfielder was 2023 All-Conference First Team honoree. Also a Golden Spikes preseason watch list member. UNC Greensboro of the Southern Conference. Swing and a miss. Slider's been working well for either side here today. A right-hander in Steven and a left-hander in Sprague. And no one's really figured it out thus far.
No, having some serious trouble at trying to get some hits and runs on the board, but could be just another one of those shootout games.
Jones a little out in front again there. Harwich team that looked to a solo home run last night to win its 5th straight game. That solo home run was from Brian Arts. The 2-2 spiked in the dirt. Brian Arts seems to be one of the most composed guys on this Harwich roster this season. He just has a good deal of poise going behind the plate to catch numerous guys this season for a Harwich pitching staff that has the 4th leading ERA in the Cape Cod Baseball League this season. Certainly credit to R.J. Thomas, the pitching coach, for calling a good game last night. Payoff pitch, grounded over towards the left side. Vieira scoops, fires over to first, and it's in time. 2 away here in the 4th.
Vieira made that look real easy. That's a tough play, reading that hop on the short bounce right in front of him, and then has to make an awkward throw across the body onto first just to beat Jones by a step. Really nice job by Vieira there.
Red Sox defense has not quite wavered here tonight. The Mariners with an error, and that came back in the first with 2 outs, as Shea Sprague just could not pick up a small tapper in front of the mound. Now for first pitch fastball strike for Devin Obie, the Duke product, stepping in with 2 outs and none away here. The Mariners still trying to get that 3rd hit. Obie here in his first handful of games for the Mariners after hitting .232 for Duke has been exceptional, now in a 3-game hitting streak. Watched it for a strike low. This will be protecting here. His teammate Andrew Yu has caught a couple of games this season here for Harwich, both making their debuts against Katuitt, as the Mariners won their 2nd straight game there, 1-2 high. Obie playing for a Duke team that lost to Virginia in the Super Regionals this season. Certainly a good year of continuity for the Blue Devils. And the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Obie falls to 0 for 2 to start the evening as the Mariners go down in order, as the Red Sox did here in the top half of the 4th. 1-0 Harwich trails going into the 5th. You're watching Harwich Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. On to the fifth inning here from Harwich. The Red Sox and the Mariners facing each other for the third time this season. Bottom third of the order in double lead, Enzo Apodaca and Nathan Archer due up here against Shea Sprague, the left-hander out of Elon, who has allowed just 2 hits thus far. Brought up the super regional matchup between Virginia and Duke before the break to send us here to the 5th. One of the best hitting teams in the country was Virginia this season, but LSU and Florida facing off in the College World Series final here tonight. 2 of the top 3 home run hitting teams in the country this season. LSU with 138, Florida with 136. It's an SEC final that is just getting underway from Omaha right now at Charles Schwab Field. Should be quite the intriguing matchup. Brandon Sproat on the mound for Florida here today. 1-2. Shea Sprague just misses high with that slider. It's 2-2. He's had a couple of hit or miss pitches that certainly could have gone down in the book as punch-outs. But right now it's all about for Sprague just trying to work out of these deep counts. 2-2. Tapper back up the mound into the middle infield. Arias is going to try over to first, and it's not going to be in time. Not the hardest hit ball, but Gleed has his first hit of the day, and it's the 3rd hit of the day for the Red Sox as they have a leadoff man on here in the 5th.
Yeah, excuse me, hit perfectly up the middle. It was a tough play for both the middle infielders. Sometimes it's all about placement, not how hard you hit it. That time, really nice job by Gleed, and he's on to start the 5th inning.
Just on a shelf higher that time for the tall Shea Sprague to climb as it brings Enzo Apodaca up here, still with none away. Foul back. 1-0 lead for Yarmouth Dennis after the Mariners and the Red Sox battled in a compelling 9th inning over at Red Wilson Fields just last Friday. It was 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th that prevented the Red Sox, or prevented the Mariners, I should say, from walking away with a win. This one is shot over into left field and past the glove of Camarillo. Now runners on first and second here. Apodaca also gets his first hit on the day. And there are 2 on here against Shea Sprague, start of the stretch.
Yeah, hitting a little turbulence. All starting pitchers run into it at some point, or at least the by and large majority. And Sprague in a difficult spot here. There is action in the Harwich bullpen. Only a matter of time before a move is made. And it appears to be Gabe Van Amen, Lexington, Mass native out of Endicott.
And he's set to go to Connecticut as well. I talked to him after last night's game, Devin, that 2-1 victory for the Mariners after trailing early, and sounds quite excited to be moving on to Connecticut. Had 108 strikeouts this year for Endicott. He dominated at the Division III level. I was starting to think that it might be his time to call here after being around the Mariners for most of the week. Gleed on second, Apodaca on first. Still none away. Bunt laid down, and it goes foul. Brian Arndt starting behind the dish once again for the Mariners here tonight. He's caught numerous thieves on the base paths, but has not done so yet. I mean, he has done an excellent job in blocking for multiple guys this season. And I'd have to think he's getting up there with thieves caught this season. And quite reliable behind the plate in addition to that hitting streak that we were talking about just a few innings ago. Another bunt shown this time. It'll be 1-2.
And that really hurts if you're Archer. I mean, if he's able to get that down at potentially second and third, 1 out for the top of the order, but he fouls off 2 bunt attempts. Now if he bunts the third one foul, it will be recorded as an out, so I doubt that he will even attempt it here, probably swinging away. We shall see.
Archer 9 for 12, but Devin, he has not provided a hit in 7 games as he yanked it back just in time. He was 0 for 2 when the Mariners took that trip to Red Wilson Field after hitting .282 with a team most 9 home runs, 39 RBIs in his second season at Bowling Green, the native of LaGrange, Ohio. And the 2-2 goes low. Man, that slider has gone on 2 strikes. A lot here tonight for Shea Sprague, and it's 3-2. Van Eman still tossing down the left field side. No one warming up for Yarmouth Dennis. Come to think of what it might take to see a triple play here. Still not away. Payoff pitch, a bunt again. So he goes down on strikes for the second time here today. Archer was certainly keen about just trying to move the runners over, but he paid the price.
Yeah, and that really just hurts that you can't get it down in 3 attempts. I mean, Archer, a golden opportunity to make something happen and give his team an opportunity for some insurance, but just can't get it down. And that's typically your role as the 9-hitter, and just really struggled there as Coach Angler going to make his way out to the hill.
Angler yet to give the sign here. Not R.J. Thomas coming out, the pitching coach. Van Eman's been warming up for at least an inning now. We'll see what Angler elects to do here. Across Yarmouth Dennis's last 5 games, it's averaged just under 7 hits per game. Has 4 here. It's leading the Cape Cod League in hits, as this will be a pitching change here. So it will be Van Eman set to come in and make his debut. We'll tell you more about him after the break. There's one away here in the top of the 5th with Yarmouth Dennis holding a 1-0 lead over Harwich here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back at Whitehouse Field, the Mariners trailing the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox 1-0, 1 away. Steve Langert goes to the bullpen. It'll be the left-hander making his debut. Gabe Van Eman, the Endicott College transfer, immediately working out of the stretch here in a mini jam. First pitch on the way to R.J. Austin of Vanderbilt fouled. Van Eman, as we mentioned a moment ago to you, had 108 strikeouts for Endicott. He's a first-year member of the Mariners. Finished his 3rd season at Endicott of the COCC, a Division III with a 10-2 record, Devin. Highly efficient with that sub-2 ERA. We'll see what he can work with here.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how his talent's able to translate. He's been so great at Endicott, a D3 school, and now able to come to the Cape in the same state, and we'll see what he can do here against all these Power 5 guys. Got to be a pretty cool opportunity for him and a good chance to get his feet wet ahead of UConn next year.
Tall task here, facing Austin, who walked back in the 3rd inning after flying out in the 1st. That one gets all the way to the backstop. Aren't unable to block, and that'll send Gleed into 3rd and Apodaca into 2nd. A gross tenser here for Van Eman as he looks to take the next step in his individual career at the collegiate level. No mound meeting to try and ease Van Eman into some momentum here. The infield playing in. 3-1 here to Austin, goes high. So Austin works a 5-pitch walk, and the bases are loaded here. And for Van Eman, certainly would be a Houdini act in order to force a ground ball double play, if not strike out 2 straight.
In the most difficult part of the order as well, coming up, Will King, Max Vieira, and Hunter Hines. 3 guys hitting above 300, and they are ever so dangerous. Really going to be a test. Baptism by fire here, if you're Gabe Van Eman.
The task grows more difficult here after R.J. Austin walks for the second time here today. King comes back up 1 for 2 as he lofts it into left field, and it's down for a base hit. Coming across, the score will be Gleed. Behind him, Apodaca. He has the wave around sign. The throw into third is too late, as it's a 1-out double here for Will King. And it's a 3-0 lead for Yarmouth Dennis here in the 5th, as it's a rude awakening here for Van Eman in his debut.
Yeah, and just a difficult situation to inherit out there on the mound, and then the pass ball followed by the walk. Then you face the best part of the order. Really just everything coming up YD here in the situation. Now they got a 3-0 lead to show for it.
Now Austin on third, King on second, following the RBI base knock. Max Vieira coming back up, still looking for his first hit. And that's going to be an intentional walk here against Vieira. So despite him not having a hit here, Steve Englert not wanting to take the risk against King, or against Vieira, I should say. And the bases are loaded again, 1 out. Hunter Hines now coming up. Mississippi State product in Hines coming back up after striking out back in the 4th. 3-0 lead for Yarmouth Dennis. Hines ropes it down the right side, foul. Just a little bit early. Harwich trying to play the pull here. Now 5 hits for Yarmouth Dennis, just 2 for the Mariners. Hasn't been the most efficient day for Harwich pitching against a Yarmouth Dennis team that has certainly made its mark in the Cape Cod Baseball League with the most hits this season. Also has the 4th most doubles. Does not walk a ton of times, however, despite 2 walks to leadoff hitter and R.J. Austin. Sky back behind home plate. Arndt gets rid of the mask, and he makes the catch for the second out. Huge out here for Van Eman, working with Arndt for the first time this season.
Yeah, you said it. Those outs, especially in foul territory, when you're in bases loaded situation, those do numbers for you. Really nice job by Van Eman to get the pop out against the cleanup hitter, who we know can do damage. He's got 3 home runs, so to get him to foul out and the runners all stay put at their stations is huge. Now all you got to do is worry about the batter in Christian.
Bases still loaded here. Christian lofts it out towards shortstop. This time it's going to be Camarillo making a chance, and he makes the play. So a couple of quick outs after a 2-run RBI base hit for Will King. He has his 2nd single of the day. The Mariners fall behind 3-0 as we're halfway home here at Whitehouse Field. In the 5th inning here for Yarmouth Dennis, 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 3 left stranded. 3-0 deficit for the Mariners going into the home half of the 5th. We'll be back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. So despite facing a bases-loaded jam, it is only 2 runs in the 5th inning, and those go on Shea Sprague, the starter for Harwich. To close his line, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. After the 2-out, or rather the RBI base hit from Will King to score 2. It's 1-1 here to Kenny Lavari, the Old Dominion product.
Brady Day also entering the ball game over at second. R.J. Austin out.
There's a strike. Lavari will have to protect.
And actually, it looks like R.J. Austin went out to left field, so Nathan Archer's night is over.
So a couple of defensive shifts here for Scott Pickler. Grounded over towards the right side. Steven off the mound. He races to the bag himself as he waved off Jacob Christian, the Point Loma Nazarene product, and there's one away. How about the speed from Christian in addition to what Steven offered racing over to the bag? They were certainly prepared to conjoin.
Absolutely, and Steven's just in a rhythm here. When you're feeling it, you're feeling it, and he'll absolutely take the insurance of taking it to the base himself, help his own cause. He's held the Mariners to just 2 hits. Been really locked in out there. They are struggling to find any offensive solutions.
1-0 here to Matt Scannell of Princeton. It's quite rare, but it can happen. You see a shift in between the third baseman and the shortstop here, as Yarmouth Dennis has a 3-man shift applied to the right side against the pull hitter and Scannell. He grounds it over into the shift. Day at second makes the play on a first, and there are 2 away. Now, rarely do you see this, but there have been instances where a ground out to the pitcher unassisted does result in a collision at first. And I've only seen it a couple of times. Fortunately, it didn't happen between Christian and Steven there. More likely than not, most pitchers, especially the right-handers, will have the tendency just to flip it on underhanded. Seen it already a couple of times here today as Brian Arndt steps in and watches it in the dirt. And for Cal Steven, he's been incredibly efficient, retiring 7 straight now after giving up a single to the pitcher back in the 3rd inning. Shot into center field. Base hit here for Brian Arndt. He goes to 1 for 2 on the day as the Harwich Mariners now have their 3rd hit on the day here, and it comes with 2 away here in the 5th.
So here we go. Maybe a little 2-out rally for Harwich. It's got to start with Arias now after Arndt was able to get on, but need to find a way to get some offense, and what a time it would be to start. Try and find an answer to that 2-run top half that YD was able to put together.
Harwich getting 2 hits in the early frames, but has not been able to bring home a runner in scoring position. Similar struggle to what Orleans exhibited last night, as the Mariners took a narrow 2-1 victory. Aiden Moza making his debut. He picked up the win with 5 scoreless innings, the most out of a Harwich reliever this season. Saw Joe Savino, now of Virginia, get it done a couple nights ago against Chatham as the Mariners and the Anglers went into extra innings. The Mariners closing out now their 4-game homestand here tonight. So a single to center field, giving the Mariners a little bit of life here. That one gets away from the catcher and King. Arndt will certainly make it into second standing up, and there's runner in scoring position. And it's the Mariners' first in scoring position since the 2nd.
Big spot for Arias. He has 1 of the 3 hits on the day. It was an infield single that came back in the 3rd inning. He's got a chance for his first Cape League RBI right here. Brian Arndt just 180 feet away.
Steven now up to 17 strikeouts on the season, making his 3rd appearance here tonight. Grounded to the left side. Gleed at 3rd. Steps, fires, and it's in time. Dug up out of the dirt really well by Jacob Christian as the Mariners strand another runner in scoring position. They bring 4 to the plate. They score no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and leave 1 on. 3-0 deficit for Harwich, trying to keep its 5-game win streak alive here at home against the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox of the Cape East Division. It's a 3-0 deficit going to the 6th here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Gabe Van Eman, now of Connecticut, back on the mound here after 4 1/3 innings from Shea Sprague, the starter of Elon. Set to face Casey Cook, Dub Gleed, and Enzo Apodaca. So Nathan Archer's day is done here. Instead of batting in the 9-hole, be Brady Day instead. Van Eman, the left-hander, misses high and inside. Cook 0 for 2 here today, the victim of a 4-6-3 groundout. Struck out swinging in the 4th. 5 strikeouts for Sprague as Cook lobs one foul. Relative number of strikeouts here between the Mariners and the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. 1-1 misses low on a slider that time.
Small zone for Letizio today. There's been a lot of borderline pitches on both sides that have been called balls.
Couple of score updates from across the Cape Cod East Division. Brewster Whitecaps out of the Bourne Braves 2-0. Highness Harbor Hawks and the Orleans Firebirds are now postponed to July 3rd. As Devin mentioned earlier, due to rain. And there's a 5-pitch walk to Casey Cook. The North Carolina product gets on base for the first time here today with a leadoff walk.
Yeah, still trying to figure out what works best for him is Van Eman. And luckily settling into the bottom of the order. Hopefully it will get a little easier for him as he had to go through that gauntlet in the top half of the lineup.
R.J. Austin still batting in the leadoff spot for Yarmouth Dennis as Day replaces Archer in the 9-hole. Foul back on a hit-and-run chance. So Dub Gleed back in here. That's his nickname, Dub. Grounded out 1-3 back in the 2nd. Reached on an infield single to lead off the 5th before the entrance of Van Eman, the Endicott College transfer. Shea Sprague getting tacked with 3 earned runs on that 2 RBI hit from Will King, who has 2 hits on the afternoon now.
Seeing Van Eman try a little slide step so that there can't be a good jump from Cook over on first base.
Outside.
Barely.
Barely. The Mariners in this series have looked to Matt Scannell 2 for 7, but they have only got 3 hits on the afternoon thus far. 8 hits combined between these two Cape Cod East Division rivals. Slider weakly grounded to the right side. Scannell takes himself to the bag, and that moves a runner in scoring position as Cook darts in a second.
That works out. You'll take the out. Of course, you'd wish you'd been able to get the lead runner, but heading into the bottom of the order, Van Eman's just got to focus on the batter and find ways to get out of the inning and keep his team in this ball game. Still just a 3-run deficit. That can be easily overcome by the Mariners. We've seen them have big innings. Just need the bats to start waking up. Pitching has done their part thus far.
Mariners this season are 2-2 when their opponent scores first. They trailed 1-0 last night against Orleans. The Firebirds getting an RBI double out of Eddie Micheletti Jr. to score Fred Trimble. Now a runner in second here against Van Eman as he deals a good breaking ball for strike number 2 here. Enzo Apodaca striking out looking in the 3rd, single to left back in the 5th.
That
just inside, and that looked to be a half swing, a foul tip into the glove as well.
Well, then it would be strike 3. I'm not sure why it wasn't. Looks like I'm not sure why that wasn't strike 3.
Van Eman tries again. He misses outside. The foul tip was certainly audible as well, Devin.
Yeah, that's why I'm appealing the decision by Tizio. No argument from Art either, though, so.
2-2. Slider lofted out towards left field. Lavari in from 3rd. He loses the hat. He tries to make another acrobatic play, but it goes a little too far. Yarmouth Dennis with a right-hander warming up down the right field line.
Van Van Eman searching for that first Cape League strikeout right here.
Hector Garcia, the 5'10", 195-pound Fullerton, California native on. And he is looking for that first strikeout. 2-2 again. Fouled away. Shea Sprague dealing 5 strikeouts. A Mariners pitching staff with the 4th leading ERA, but a strikeout to walk ratio of just 1.96. Very much relying on the ground ball contact. 2-2, shot into right field, base hit. Rounding third, Casey Cook. He gets the wave around sign. He will score standing up. On a 1-out RBI single from Enzo Apodaca, he has his 2nd hit on the day, and the Mariners are now behind 4-0 here in the 6th.
And that's a little frustrating because the hindsight bias in me wanted that to be a strikeout on Apodaca. I thought for sure he foul tipped it into the mitt, but unfortunately doesn't get called that way, and he lines an RBI single. This could have been a whole different half inning if that had been rung up strike 3.
Six hits now for Yarmouth Dennis. The hits have certainly come alive here in the middle innings. 3 hits back in the 5th, giving Yarmouth Dennis that padded lead after leading 1-0 going into the 4th. Chopper over towards the right side from Day, and it gets past the glove of Scannell. That will send Apodaca into 3rd as our runners on the corners here with still 1 away, and Van Eman still working out of the stretch.
Yeah, it's been a really tough start for him into this ball game. Just unfortunately, his velocity is what carried him through Endicott and led to most of his success, but these hitters, of course, a touch more talented than the ones that Endicott was facing, and they've been able to jump all over the fastball early here, and it's leading to a bunch of singles.
So despite dominating for Endicott this year, a rocky debut here thus far for Gabe Van Eman, the rising senior at Connecticut. Had a 15-1 conference ledger this season with Endicott. Or should I say across his career. 45 wins in 54 games total with Endicott. Certainly accomplished a lot there as he deals a strike on the outer half. So R.J. Austin.
Sean Hard loosening in the Harwich pen.
Hitting coming alive here for Yarmouth Dennis as this one gets by the glove of Lavari. Easily scoring will be Apodaca into 2nd Archer, or rather Day. And R.J. Austin reaches with 1-out base hit, and it goes for an RBI as well as it's a 5-0 Yarmouth Dennis lead here in the 6th.
And that one not on Lavari. It took a really funky hop off the lip and just jumped over him. Really unfortunate bounce that time, and yeah, just unfortunately this inning not going in Harwich's favor. Already 2 for the Red Sox and counting. They are threatening for more as we get into the heart of the order.
Back-to-back 1-out RBI hits here. 1 for Day, 1 for Austin. The Mariners certainly falling into some more troubling waters from what they faced back in the first 3 innings. Now it's up to Will King as he jams one down the left side foul. Quickly 0-2 here to the New York native. Led Eastern Kentucky in hitting this year. And he has been outstanding in the top third of this lineup for Pickler. 0-2. Breaking ball low. 1-2. King 2 for 3 here today. Lined out to left back in the 1st. Single to right in the 3rd. Single to left in the 5th for an RBI hit. 1-2. Slider lobbed out towards right field. Obi going back. He makes the catch. Tagging from 2nd will be Day, and he'll be there just in time. Now runners on the corners.
You'll take the out. It does advance the runner, but you will take it. Now got to focus on the batter once again. Keep your team in it. Still a 5-run ball game. You got 12 outs left to work with on offense, so just settle in, find a way to get that 3rd out, and then it's got to be in your hitter's hands. Can't win games if you don't have offense. This game can't be all in the pitching. Harwich still without a run on the board.
And here's a really tough test for Van Eman making his debut. Devin, Max Vieira with a third leading batting average in the Cape Cod League with 7 RBIs and 6 walks as well. Almost a back pick, and Arndt has him caught in a rundown. And that's going to be Austin on the base pass. Trying to score from third is going to be Day, and they're going to get the out nonetheless. So an excellent read that time by Brian Arndt as the inning comes to a close. But nonetheless, the Mariners fall behind now by 5. As Yarmouth Dennis scores 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and leaves 2 on. Back in a moment, the Mariners trailing 5-0 going to the bottom of the 6th here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Top of the order, due up with the Mariners behind 5-0 against the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. Humphrey, Camarillo, and Fitzgerald. A new pitcher is into the ball game for the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. First reliever here for Scott Pickler. As Cal Stevens' day comes to an end, it's the right-hander Hector Garcia out of Hope International University. He's pitched a combined 6 1/3 scoreless innings. And Evan, this is a dynamite reliever out of the bullpen here for the Red Sox, trying to shut down this Harwich lineup. Garcia, not to mention, had the second lowest ERA in 23 appearances at Hope International this season.
Yeah, he's got that really top-to-bottom pendulum-style delivery and then brings velocity, makes it really difficult to figure out his cadence and time his pitches.
Garcia quickly behind 2-0 here after a 5-inning scoreless start from Cal Steven. Had 4 strikeouts and a walk to go with it. Meanwhile, Humphrey still looking to reach base, a victim of 2 strikeouts here on the evening. And there's the strike here to the UMass Lowell product. So neither starter goes more than 5 innings. Shea Sprague limited to 4 1/3 here today. 3 earned runs tacked to his card. And there's a swing and a miss on a great slider from Garcia. It's 2-2. Top of the order has been mostly quiet, especially the first 4 hitters in the lineup here for a Harwich team that has looked for a lot of balance out of its lineup across its 5-game win streak. Just 1 hit, and that was from Hunter Fitzgerald back in the first.
Pair of strikeouts from Humphrey, and he's on the verge of number 3 right here. Got to be defensive.
Garcia looking to strike out the first he faces. And he gets him looking. Jacob Humphrey got frozen up that time on a fastball in the outer half, and there's 1 away here in the bottom of the 6th.
That's a pitch you simply can't take. It's right on the outside corner, and the fact that he was so confident that he threw the bat is kind of making my head scratch a little bit. It was definitely right on the outer edge, and really nice pitcher's pitch from Garcia. Humphrey goes down for the third time on strikes. Tough night for him.
Garcia, someone at Hope International who has found some longevity within the program and the pitching staff specifically, very accustomed to going at least 6 innings. Outside here to Ali Camarillo. 0 for 2 here today. Grounded out to short back in the first. Popped out to Steven, the starter for Yarmouth Dennis, back in the third. Mariners without a base runner since the 2-out mark of the 5th. Getting that 2-out hit from Brian Arndt. Mariners weren't able to do anything with it. They've only left 3 on here today, as they've only had 3 base runners, rather 4 across the entire game. Can Camarillo light a spark here? He might do that. He's 1 pitch away from earning a 1-out base runner for Harwich.
Garcia puts so much pressure on that right foot into his delivery, puts that left leg straight out, almost hyperextends it, completely loads all his weight on that right foot, and then explodes off the mound. Cool delivery.
4-pitch walk here for the new Texas A&M product in Ali Camarillo after finishing 0 for 3 as a starting shortstop last night. Narrow win for Harwich. The Mariners finally get a base runner here in the 6th, and you have to figure that something is going to break through with the resiliency that Harwich has exhibited, particularly when trailing 1-0 last night. But they need base runners fast, and they're turning to Hunter Fitzgerald, who certainly knows all about getting on base. Fitzgerald 1 for 2 here tonight. Righty-lefty battle. He swings through it, gets away from King on a pass ball. That'll send Camarillo down into second. So the Mariners with their second straight inning with a runner in scoring position, but it's a matter of being able to convert. Look to the heart of the order. Middle of the order for the Mariners with just 1 hit. That came from Fitzgerald with 2 outs in the first. Mariners have to be able to put pressure on this Yarmouth Dennis defense that has not been at its finest for a majority of the season. What a slider that time from Hector Garcia. You talk about the explosion coming off the mound, and Fitzgerald fell victim there. It's 0-2.
That might have even been a changeup. Just nasty. Pulled the string on it. The velo completely changed as that ball met the dirt area around home plate.
Trying for a second strikeout here. The 0-2. Laced down the left field line, foul. Well, Yarmouth Dennis, similarly to Matt Scannell-Devon, playing the pull here for the southpaw hitter in Hunter Fitzgerald's. And Scannell grounded out to the second baseman in Day just a couple of moments ago. Left side of the infield is wide open here for the Old Dominion hitter. Camarillo on second, 0-2, served out towards left center field. Darting back, Apodaca. He won't be able to get there. That'll send Camarillo around third. He gets the wave around sign as Fitzgerald coasts into second with a 1-out RBI double. And the Mariners are on the board finally here in the 6th, trailing 5-1.
Really nice at bat by Fitzgerald. He got down with 2 strikes on him early on within the count, and then stays in there a couple defensive swings, then barrels one up, shows off that opposite field power, and just muscles it out towards the wall. Really nice piece of hitting. The first real flash of light we've seen out of Harwich thus far.
Now the infield congregates on the mound here for the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. They've allowed 2 hits in these last 2 innings to Harwich. You have to think the conversation on the mound here has to be to induce the ground ball contact in addition to Garcia's drive to find strikeouts. Garcia, meanwhile, finishing his 4th collegiate season at Hope International. 5 appearances of 8 or more strikeouts in nearly 60 innings pitched. He finished out the season with Hope International, giving up 7 hits for 6 earned runs, despite the 6 strikeouts and a 15-14 loss. So it's Fitzgerald on second. Kennedy Jones coming up for the 3rd time here today. Struck out swinging back in the first, grounded out to short back in the 4th. Behind in the count to start this latest plate appearance. Mariners trying to work around the strikeouts here and get some more hits on the board. Just 4 for Harwich as it looks to get its 6th straight win here after a nail-biting victory last night over Orleans. Grounded over towards the left side, the diving glove Gleed, and it gets past him into left field. Fitzgerald is stopping at third, and there are runners on the corners with still 1 away here in the 6th.
There you go. Starting to find ways to put the ball in play, and good things happen when you're able to do that. Nice swing from Kennedy Jones to just force it right by Dub Gleed. Now you got runners on the corners, and OB could make this a much closer game with 1 swing of the bat. We shall see.
Well, Devin Obi on a 3-game on-base streak entering here today. Still looking to reach for the first time. Flied out to left field back in the 2nd, struck out swing in the 4th. OB, although it's not spelled the letters just O and B, I certainly got on base quite frequently. So 1 away, and runners on the corners for the Duke product as he watches one get to the backstop. Scoring from third will be Fitzgerald. And the Mariners have cut this to a 3-run ball game. A wild pitch that time from the Hope International right-hander in Garcia, and it's paid off for as Fitzgerald scores easily.
Sometimes baseball's just a game of who can make more mistakes, and the first half of the ball game, it was absolutely Harwich by a mile, and now the momentum's starting to shift back to the YD side of things. So we'll see if Harwich can take advantage of that. Still another runner in scoring position for Obi.
Still plenty of time left in this one, with the Mariners having at least 9 outs to work with here. Misses low again here to the Duke product. OB also on a 3-game hitting streak. Harwich across its winning streak, scoring 59% of its total runs on the season. And they're starting to claw back here as it goes low again here. We talked about this yesterday as Will King, the Eastern Kentucky catcher, has a word with Garcia on the mound. Talked about this yesterday. Obi really looking to get better and find some continuity with the bat-to-ball contacts. Great opportunity to do it here. While Shea Sprague has pitched a relatively clean game thus far, despite the 3 earned runs. Bullpen for Yarmouth Dennis has been outstanding this season. It's just a 1.6 combined ERA compared to the starters, as Obi wanted that one, but it clipped the outer corner instead, and it'll stay alive in the count.
It's one of those 50-50 pitches that's been going either way. Unfortunately, can't get the 4-pitch walk there. Now be smart. You're still way ahead in the count. You can watch one go by if it's not your pitch. Don't roll out or pop up.
Jones on second, 1 away, 3-1. Chopped over towards the left side, scooped by Gleed, fires onto first in time, and now the throw down to third, and it's just a little bit too late. A smart read that time by Kennedy Jones as there are 2 away, and Harwich's 3rd run of the ball game now lies 90 feet away.
And yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Obi might have been his pitch, but he just rolled it over, and maybe it would have been worth seeing another one, but nonetheless, at least he got the runner over to third. Harwich would love to at least cash in for one more here. Big at bat for Lavari.
So it's not the tying run at the plate, but nonetheless, Lavari has to be feeling a good deal of pressure with Gleed, the third baseman, now playing at the lip of the infield dirt. Called strike here to the Old Dominion infielder in Lavari. Five hits for Lavari this season through 8 games. Watches it inside below the belt. It's 0-2 here.
I believe 2 or 3 of those came on opening day against the YD Red Sox here at Whitehouse. So really has had a decline in offensive production, but he has been getting on base with a bunch of walks. Already has one here tonight.
2 for 6 against Yarmouth Dennis in the series thus far in both games. Instead, he strikes out swinging with the drop third strike, closing out the side. But the Mariners buy back 2 runs here in the bottom of the 6th inning at Whitehouse Field. Looking to get back in this one. It's 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left aboard in Jones at third. The Mariners still within reach going into the final innings. 5-2 deficit for the Mariners coming on back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Keep it locked. Gabe Van Eman, the left-hander of Endicott College, now of Connecticut, back out for another inning. Here to start the 7th, Max Vieira, Hunter Hines, Jacob Christian due up with Yarmouth Dennis leading the Mariners 5-2 here at Whitehouse Field. And for the play-by-play duties for the final innings, back over to my broadcast partner, Devin Dobeck. Devin.
Thank you, Wyatt. Back out there is Van Eman, and he will be set to face 3-4-5 for the YD Red Sox. Hot part of the lineup. It's 0-1. He's ahead of Vieira. Vieira reached on an error in the first, grounded out to short in the third, and was intentionally walked by Van Eman back in the fifth. Here comes the 0-1 pitch, and this is grounded softly over to Lavari. A few steps back now, the play over to first. In time, a 5-3 putout, and that will be out number 1 here in the top of the 7th. Be Hunter Hines' turn. Popped out to Lavari at third base in the first inning. That really nice catch we saw him make. Then struck out in the fourth and popped out to the catcher Brian Art in the fifth. That was a big out for Van Eman at the time with the bases loaded, one away, was able to get the pop out. See if he can have the same success against Hines here, who's 0 for 3. Ahead in the count, 0-1. The next pitch on the outside corner looked to be a little off the plate, but Mariners will take it. It's 0-2. Van Eman kicks and delivers right there. Same spot. Rings up Hines. Second time he's punched out today, and that will be the first Cape Cod Baseball League strikeout for Gabe Van Eman. There's 2 away quickly in the 7th. Van Eman also seeming to work much quicker when there's not runners on base. Locked and loaded here, and the first pitch to Christian is foul tipped. Might have got a piece of the umpire and Letizio, but he appears to be okay. He's going to walk it off. Count is 0-1 to Christian. He singled in the second inning, grounded out to third in the fourth, and popped out to the shortstop, Camarillo, in the fifth. Letizio cleaning the plate off, got a little dirty amidst all the chaos. Now, once again, coming set is Van Eman, working very quick, almost not even waiting for the hitter to get in the box, but they will take it. Way ahead now, 0-2. He's got a pitch or two to waste. As this one's chopped foul back to the netting, and it will be 0-2 once again. Christian, native of San Diego, California, attends Point Loma Nazarene. Second season there, 25 multi-hit games just about. Hit .408 with 70 runs batted in. 0-2 pitch, misses down low. He was a Pac West Freshman of the Year back in 2022. 6'4", 225, stands in that right side. A big frame. 1-2. Just fell off the table at the last second. Tough pitch to lay off. Credit to Christian. And it'll be 2 balls, 2 strikes with 2 away. Next pitch is going to be just inside. Did he go? No. So says first base umpire Rob McHugh. So payoff pitch coming. Christian's worked it all the way back full after being ahead 0-2 or behind 0-2. And it'll be a walk. Really nice at bat for Christian. Just when Van Eman seemed like he was going to get the 1-2-3 inning, he issues 6-pitch walk, or 7-pitch walk rather, and the inning is extended. Casey Cook's turn. He walked and came around to score when he led off the 6th inning. He's also struck out and grounded into a double play. First pitch to him, misses up high. Van Eman struggling with his control over the last series of pitches. (1-0). Is going to be popped foul off to the left, and it's 1-1.
It's got to be a tough feeling for Van Eman, forcing a pair of foul pitches for Jacob Christian. Not able to get out of it.
1-1. On the outside corner, he's lived there with that fastball, and that one a really nice pitch. Tough to hit, especially on the outer part of the plate, middle away. 1-2. Breaking ball cut on and miss. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Van Eman. He faces just 4 batters. That's been his best inning to date. We'll take a quick break. Time to stretch here at Whitehouse. We'll see you in the home half. 5-2 YD. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Bottom 3 in the order due up for the Mariners. They showed some life back in the 6th, tallying 2 runs on 2 hits. Did leave a runner in Kennedy Jones stranded at third. We'll see what Matt Scannell can do here. First pitch misses up high, and it's 1-0.
Yeah, it's the tough part about the college game, Devin. You just have that discrepancy from the major leagues where you don't have the band on the shift this year.
Yeah, there is absolutely a Matt Scannell shift going on here as next pitch misses. It's 2-0.
What's your take on the shift? Should it have been banned this year from the MLB Commissioner's Office?
I don't mind the ban. I think that definitely gives hitters that are more favorable to pull kind of a more level playing field. It's 2-1 now to Scannell, especially like Devers. I mean, you'd stack 4 infielders on the right side.
Anthony Rizzo, the first baseman for New York.
Yep. Plenty of guys who are taking advantage of that ban. 2-1 pitch. And Scannell lifts it high and deep out to center field. Going back is Apodaca, and he hauls it in for out number 1 here in the home half of the 7th.
How do you think Ted Williams would have fared had the shift been banned? He was a lefty.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I'd have to really put some time to that. I'm sure it would have hurt him.
It might have changed the projected for each season. You can see the projected hits, on-base percentage, et cetera, for each player each season. I'm sure it would have changed that projection.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Brian Arndt's turn. He's popped out to first and singled, 1 for 2 here in the ball game. First pitch from Garcia is a good one right down Broadway. It's 0-1. Ivan Arias on deck for the Mariners. They trail by 3 here in the 7th from Whitehouse. This pitch is popped up, foul territory, long run for Christian. Cook also closing in, but that one escapes out of play, and so it'll be 0-2. Just closed in a little past 8 o'clock here in Harwich. Beautiful night for baseball after a very glooming morning. But the field dried up after the delayed start, and we are just about ready to go and wrap this thing up within a couple innings. So credit to all the people who worked on the grounds crew to make sure there was a game tonight. 0-2. Just misses high. Arndt thought about it, and then once he realized his hands were going above his shoulders, laid off, and wisely so. It's 1-2. Swing and a miss. Really good off-speed pitch that time from Garcia. He picks up his 3rd strikeout. And so there will be 2 away in the 7th.
And before you know it, Devin, 4 straight retired here from Garcia, doing a really nice job after Cal Steven initiated. 9 of 10 retired. The Mariners begun to find a way to work around that. And you know what I found interesting about what Brian Arndt said to us last night is just that this team is very versatile in how it knows to move the ball, especially in late innings. The Mariners only trailed by 1, but it didn't shy away from their urgency, or didn't take away from their urgency and how they're able to just get some timely hits, and that's what they need right now, trailing by 3.
An uncomfortable swing by Arias that time. He's behind in the count 0-1. As Garcia comes set, and the pitch. Just missed outside. Arias once again thought about it. This time held up, and he evens it up at 1-1. Garcia comes set, taps that left foot. Now, big leg kick and the delivery. Swing and a miss. Took Arias down to a knee there. Got him lunging, and it's 1-2.
Even with nobody on, big chance to redeem yourself after got picked off 1-3 to double up and close out the third.
1-2. He's going to be chopped foul off to the left, and so we'll have to do it again. Hard still loosening out in the bullpen. He's joined by Will Pearson. So probably a pitching change coming in the top half of the 8th for Harwich after Van Eman likely will close his line. 1-2. Fouled off, and on a good note, I might add. Van Eman, of course, settled into a very difficult situation, then had a very long 6th inning before really settling down in the 7th and sticking to his bread and butter. Did a great job to face just 4 hitters in that inning. It's a ball and 2 strikes to Arias. Garcia rocks and fires. Misses low, 2-2. Really nice at bat. A quality one at that for Ivan Arias. He had an infield single and was also grounded out to third, 1 for 2 on the day in his CCBL debut. 2-2 pitch. This is going to be lifted high and deep out to left field. Going back is Austin at the wall. Makes the catch on the warning track. Wow, Arias gave that one a ride, but just a few push-ups short. And we head to the 8th inning. Here in Harwich, 5-2 Red Sox. We'll be right back on the other side. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Call to the bullpen here to start the 8th inning. Gabe Van Eman's night is over. It goes 2 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, walks 3, strikes out a pair. Not a bad debut, not a good debut. Kind of just a stagnant one for Van Eman, and I'm sure there's a lot more to see out of him this season. And an encouraging final inning he pitched. But Englert turns to Sean Hard, the New York Yankees draft pick and flamethrower out of Boston College, steps onto the mound. This will be his 2nd time appearing for the Mariners this season. He went 2 innings, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, also surrendered a run. The pitch is going to miss inside for a ball. 1-0 to start Dub Gleed. He'll be followed by Enzo Apodaca and Brady Day here in the 8th. 1-0 pitch from Hard is check swing foul. Makes it 1-1. And I'll tell you one thing, Sean Hard throws incredibly fast, I'll say, to avoid the corny joke, but his velocity is something that has carried him ever since he was in high school, as this one's grounded foul off to the left of third. He was the North Jersey Player of the Year before he was drafted in the 20th round. That was back when he was in high school at St. Joseph's Regional. 1-2 pitch. Misses low and away, 2-2.
Certain number of pitches that the Mariners pitchers have just wanted here tonight, and they haven't got them. They've had to work.
2-2. Misses low, 3-2. Hard this past season at Boston College, a 9.58 ERA in his 10 appearances for them. Went 10 1/3, 16 strikeouts, 12 walks, and 15 hits. Payoff is going to be lined over to Lavari. Nice job to snare it. Long throw over to first. In time, Kenny Lavari with a very athletic play to get that ball in the short hop and make a long throw, one of the longest parts of the diamond over there. But he digs it out and fires on the first, a 5-3 putout to start the 8th inning.
And sometimes taking that initial step back can hurt you with a speedy batter out of the box, but that time Lavari recovered well in time, just got that play off enough.
Next batter is going to be Apodaca on the day. He's got a pair of singles and a pair of runs. He's been a real pain in the side of these Harwich Mariners. Second half of the lineup actually has accounted for 4 runs as well as 3 hits. They've really been pulling their weight for the Red Sox. It's quickly 0-2 to Apodaca. Hard looking for his first punch out here tonight. Breaking balls, cut on and missed. Down he goes. Arn applies the tag, and first strikeout for Hard. There's 2 away here in the 8th.
Yeah, it's a strong slider that he's going to be able to bring out a lot on 2 strikes to force batters to work and stay in the count and deepen the count, coincidentally. And you look at Apodaca, he already had 2 hits today facing Sean Hard, who did not deal that high-speed fastball.
First pitch to the 9-hitter, Brady Day, is going to miss for a ball, or be in there for a strike. It's 0-1. Day came in on defense in place of Nathan Archer. He singled back in the 6th inning. 1-1. It's going to be lined out into left field. Long run for Kennedy Jones, and it'll fall in the gap. Jones picks it before it gets to the wall. The throw in the second, not going to be in time. Stand-up double for Brady Day and making Scott Pickler look like a genius for subbing him into the ball game. He's 2 for 2.
These have been some really key spots, especially with 2 outs. And once again, Brady Day converts for a Yarmouth Dennis hitting team that's only improved matchup by matchup here on opening day, in addition to last Friday when they walked off the Mariners.
So it'll be top of the order, R.J. Austin up to bat. He's been on base 3 times, a walk, another walk, and then a single before he was caught in a rundown back in the 6th. He's also flied out to right. 5th at bat for him here tonight. 1-0 from Hard is going to be fouled off, 1-1. Sun is going down here in Harwich. Still a little light creeping through the clouds out in the beautiful night sky, but the temperature definitely dropping. Possible light rain that could catch us here at the end of the ball game. 1-1 misses down, and it'll be 2-1.
Harwich staff has 8 strikeouts here tonight. And a team that traditionally wants the ground ball induced contact can come at a price, as we just saw there with the double.
2-1 pitch. Checked his swing. Did he go? No, once again. And I don't know. That certainly looks like a swing from my vantage point up here. Second time we've seen McHugh say no swing on something that absolutely, I think undoubtedly was a swing.
He had the torque as well. He had enough torque for it to be contemplated a swing.
As that one's in there to make it a 3-2 count. Austin thought he had his 3rd walk of the day, but instead he heads back to that right-hand side. And I got to imagine as an umpire, when you see someone walking to first base, it gives you all the more instinct to want to call a strike the next pitch. 3-2 misses way outside and not even an opportunity to do that. There'll be another walk issued to Austin. And there's 2 on with 2 away for Will King.
Yeah, it has to feel degrading, especially as a pitcher. You're trying to work quickly out of the stretch here. You're already managing a runner on second, and you see that batter face swinging at the plane, and you want that strikeout in order to at least get out of the inning here.
Will King's turn. He's flat out to left and right, and also has a pair of singles, including a big bases loaded single that chased in a pair of runs back earlier in the ball game. In the 5th inning, to be exact. 0-1 to King, the ever-dangerous catcher out of Eastern Kentucky. Hard kicks and fires. Breaking ball snaps hard off to the right, and it'll be 1-1.
By King's standards, he's due. He already has 2 hits here today, one of them being an RBI hit.
You're either hot or you're due, as the saying goes. 1-1. Back pick over to first, and they're going to get Austin in a rundown. Down to second, the tag is applied by Arias, and they got him. Brian Arndt with a high IQ play to snap back to first, and he was able to catch Austin sleeping. Second time he's made an error on the base paths here tonight, and that's how the 8th inning ends. Credit to Brian Arndt. We'll take a quick break, come back for the home half of the 8th. 5-2 Red Sox. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Home half of the 8th. Devin Dobeck and Wyatt Kopelman along with you on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Top of the order for the Mariners. Humphrey, Camarillo, and Fitzgerald. Humphrey on the day 0 for 3 with 3 punch-outs. He'll get his second at-bat against Garcia. Struck out against him. He was the first man to face him back in the 6th. He's behind in the count 0-1. Garcia slowly comes set at the belt, kicks and fires. Another big swing and miss. Humphrey can't catch up to that off-speed pitch, and it's 0-2. Humphrey resting the bat above his right shoulder. Now picking it up, coming set, the pitch. Checked his swing. Did he go? No. So says McHugh. That one definitely not a swing, despite the controversy earlier in the ball game. 1-2 pitch. Bounced way in front of home plate, maybe a good 2-3 feet. And so it'll be 2-2. Garcia adjusting his landing spot. Tucks that glove under his chin. Now comes set. Hand in the glove, drops it down. Nods and fires. And Humphrey laces this one out to deep right field. Going back is Cook at the warning track, hauls it in. Humphrey gave it a ride, but unfortunately just allowed out number 1 here in the home half of the 8th.
He's kind of right in his wheelhouse of the letters. Humphrey Now 0 for 4 here today. He struggled at leadoff times, points of the season, but certainly gave that one a good charge. Him was a resilient at bat, although it resulted in no one on. Strikeouts have been a common metaphor between this game. You have these teams combined for 14 here. And right now, Harwich needs to find a way just to get the ball in play.
Camarillo's turn. He walked and scored back in the 6th. That was off Garcia. He's also grounded out and popped out to the pitcher, who at the time was Steven. 0-1 now from Garcia. And the pitch. And it's popped up. Shallow into left field. Under it is Vieira, and he puts it away easily for out number 2. Mariners traveling to Falmouth tomorrow to take on the Commodores. Probably the second farthest road trip for the club. Take on Falmouth for the first time this season and the first in Falmouth out of 2 meetings.
Mariners only getting 1 run in that lone home loss in the year. They really struggled, were victim a lot of strikeouts in that one, and it's starting to look the same here as they're just trying to get the ball moving once again here in the late innings.
I haven't quite chalked this ball game because if we think back to just a week ago, YD seemed to be getting manhandled by Harwich, and then back in the 9th inning they put up 4 runs. Who says Harwich can't do the same here tonight? 0-1's the count to Fitzgerald. The next pitch is going to be checked. His swing wasn't confident in it, but he absolutely went, so says the home plate umpire Tony Letizio, and so it'll be 0-2.
Well, Pearson, the Georgia product, warming up. Not sure if that was Van Eman's last inning.
As that one's grounded over to, I believe, the shortstop Vieira. An interesting shift going on, and that will be out number 3. 1, 2, 3, they go in the 8th. We head to the 9th. Harwich needing some magic. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Back here for the top of the 9th, but before we get to that, we'll go through Cape Cod Baseball League scoreboard with you. As we know here at the ballpark, 5-2 YD is the score. Heading into the 9th. Out in Bourne, 4-3 Braves over the sliding Brewster Whitecaps in the top of the 8th. They started out the top of the East the first week and a half of the season, and ever since have just been in a dry spell, plummeting and on the verge of another loss there. Wareham on top of Katuitt, 6-2 in the bottom of the 7th. Orleans and Hyannis postponed to July 3rd due to field conditions at Eldridge Park. And Chatham on top of Falmouth, 2-0 in the top of the 6th from Veterans Field. 9th inning of action. King, Vieira, Hines due up as King cuts and misses right over that pitch from Hard, who's back out there for his 2nd inning of work. A 1 pitch is going to miss for a ball, 1-1. And Wyatt, yes, you had some difficulty with some of the pitching in the middle innings, but the bats haven't been there on offense, so unfortunately you can't win ball games with 5 hits and only scoring 2 runs. It worked out last night. It's possible, but it can't happen every night, and unfortunately a different result heading or looking likely here.
And when you have 8 straight retired, it's really tough just to be able to work around that and find that sense of continuity when you just don't have the middle of the lineup producing. You get that solo home run from Brian Arndt last night, but who else can you look to? Arndt only 1 for 3 here today.
Ball and 2 strikes to King. The pitch. Breaking ball chopped foul back towards us. And it'll be 1-2 again. Beautiful clouds showing a little shade of pink out there in center field as the sun sets and beams off of them. Also a little bit in left field. Then there's also some dark clouds. 1-2. Just misses. 2-2. Might be that light rain that is likely headed our way sooner. 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Down goes Will King on strikes. Strikeout number 2 for Sean Hard, and that's how the 9th inning starts.
Give credit to Sean Hard. Came in the 8th. He had walked 1 and then gave up the 2-out double to Brady Day, and he's really responded well. Hard-throwing right-hander, just trying to greaten that strikeout-to-walk ratio, and he's starting to do it here.
Max Vieira without a hit today. That's something you don't hear too often. Top 3 in the league in hits coming into today. He's reached out an error, grounded out to the shortstop. Been intentionally walked and grounded out to third. He pops this one up. Shallow left side of the infield. Camarillo coming in. He puts it away. 2 up, 2 down here for Hard in the 9th.
And again, your pitching has only provided 5 innings for the lineup to work away from, or 5 runs, I should say, to work away from. And right now the Mariners, when they come back up, they're going to have to work around a great mix of strikeouts in addition to some fly ball contact that's really kept them quiet.
So Vieira and Hines, a combined 0 for 8 as it stands right now. 1-0 is the count now to Hines. And the next pitch is in there for a strike, 1-1. Hard into his windup, the pitch. Swing and a miss. Heading the count 1-2 now on Hines. Hines is popped out to the third, struck out swinging, popped out to the catcher, and struck out looking. 1-2. Misses up and away. It'll be 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. No one on here in the top of the 9th. Breaking ball is going to be squirted foul off to the right, and so we'll redo it again.
Hard very reliant on that fastball in addition to a slider changeup that range in the mid-80s. But we've seen that fastball quite frequently here. Just needs 1 more for that 3rd strikeout against Hines. And it's been a relatively uncharacteristic day for Hines, who has still had plenty of support from the others around him in the lineup.
2-2 again. Cut on and missed. Down he goes on strikes. 3rd strikeout for Sean Hard, and he retires the side in order. Mariners needing a little magic here as we head to the bottom of the 9th, looking for another magical win here at Whitehouse in front of the home crowd. 5-2 YD. We'll be right back on the other side. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Bottom of the 9th here for the Harwich Mariners. It'll be 4-5-6 due up for the ball club. They've been held to 5 hits today as the score stands 5-2 against the YD Red Sox. And it will be Garcia back out there looking for an extensive 4-inning, 12-out save. And why, unfortunately, the bat's just not clicking for the Red Sox, or excuse me, for the Mariners here tonight.
Well, if you're Harwich, you've been prone to strikeouts with this 5-game win streak. You know, 57 combined over 5 and change. You just have to find a way to get the ball in play. Brian Arndt, one of the leaders, returning Harwich Mariner, leader on this team, knows that the ball has to get moving. It's just a matter of who.
So Jones, Obi, and Lavari set to get things kicked off here as we head to the bottom of the 9th. They were able to get a walk-off win in 10 innings against the Chatham Anglers, but a much more difficult feat. We saw the Red Sox come back from being down 6-3 in the 9th as they were able to knock around the reliever Walsh for the Mariners. And now Harwich trying to take advantage of a potentially tired out Garcia. Probably action ready in the pen for the Red Sox as necessary.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned him being fatigued. The Mariners have been attacked all night long. Garcia's done a good job of that in these extensive innings, but the Mariners just have to be able to combat it here.
1-0 is going to be on one hop over to the shortstop Vieira. On the first, the throw is in time, and Jones is retired. 6-3 the put out. One away.
9 straight retired here for the Mariners lineup. They're trying to get the ball sprayed across the field here, get one past the infield, and they've done it in a couple of instances, but then victim of flyouts. And so it does feel a little degrading when you're just not able to land them properly.
Devin Obie's turn. Obie on the day 0 for 3, flied out to left. He struck out swinging and grounded out to third. This will be his second at-bat against Vieira, as first pitch is floated in there for a strike on the outer part of the plate. It's 0-1. Red Sox out hitting the Mariners 8-5. Mariners have committed an error. That came back in the first and proved to be not costly. Obie pops this one foul off and back to the right. It's 0-2. And as a selective hitter, 0-2 count for Obie, not a great sign. We will see if he's able to put something in play here, but a lot of pitches to waste if you're Garcia. And other than that 6th inning in which he surrendered a couple runs on a couple hits, he has been locked in, lights out. 0-2 is fouled off. In fact, he's retired, I believe, 9 batters in a row in this Harwich order. Yep, 9 batters in a row, starting with Obie after the Jones single back in the 6th. Obie trying not to be number 10. As the 0-2 pitch set to come from Garcia. Swing and a miss. Down he goes. Garcia picks up strikeout number 4 in his outing. He is in cruise control and now just 1 out away from a 12-out save and earning his team the victory.
And he's found he's found ways to get dialed back in. It just becomes so much more than just the physical aspects. Aside from having a slider, and he's sprayed across what's now gone to 4 strikeouts here for a very strikeout-heavy pitching staff for Yarmouth Dennis. The Mariners have not figured out that slider.
First pitch to Lavari is going to be popped up and out of play. Off behind the bleachers to our left, it's 0-1. Lavari on the day has walked. He's also grounded out to the pitcher. Yes, the pitcher who charged over to first, and he struck out back in the 6th against Garcia. 0-1. Is going to be grounded on a couple bounces to a diving Brady Day on to first, and the bag could not be held by Jacob Christian, so the Mariners able to stay alive. Infield single for Kenny Lavari.
If you're Kenny Lavari, that's what you need. You've had nearly 10 walks over the past 3 games. Your team is down to its final out. You just need to defend the box, and that's what he did right there despite hitting to the shift.
And now the Matt Scannell shift going into effect. Brings Brady Day out into shallow right field. Not even shallow at this point. He is out there. Will King shouting out, "Hold your ground." Looked like no one really acknowledged him, but I believe that means that just when Lavari elects to advance to second, nobody's going to worry about him. 0-1 now to Scannell. Garcia coming set. And the pitch. There goes Lavari. Swing and a miss. 0-2 as he advances down to second. In the scoring position, Mariners need 3 to tie, 4 to win. 2-way here in the bottom of the 9th, trying to put together some sort of Mariner miracle. 0-2, there goes Lavari again. That pitch is up, and he'll take another free 90 feet down to third base. It is confirmed that that is what King was saying when he meant hold your ground. 1-2 to Scannell, leading RBI man on the Mariner club. The pitch. Strike 3, he got him. Strikeout number 5 for Garcia. He earns a 12-out save. Fantastic performance from him, and the Red Sox take this one 5-2 on the road at Whitehouse. They take the season series currently 2-1 in their favor, winning 1 at Red Wilson and 1 right here tonight. We'll take a quick break and be back on the other side to break it all down with you after the break. 5-2 Sox the score. Stick around for the Harwich Mariners postgame show on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome into the Harwich Mariners postgame show. Devin Dobek alongside Wyatt Kopelman along in Al Graber press box. Mariners dropped this one 5-2 at home. They snapped their 5-game win streak. YD improves their win streak to 3 games and is able to recapture first place. Wyatt, unfortunately, the offense really trying to do some damage control with the losses of Culpepper and Seaver King. And unfortunately, they were unable to show up tonight. Back-to-back games where they didn't score too many runs, just 4 runs in the last 2 games after a plethora of over 30 in the prior 4. What's been the difference since that time frame other than those 2 guys?
I mean, you have to consider how Harwich has lacked some contact-focused bats in the lineup. You look at Seaver King, who had 5 for 5 night just earlier in the week, and Kalen Culpepper as well. Although he doesn't get as many hits as King does, still able to ground out, move runners over. That's what you need. The Mariners were a bit shorthanded that tonight. They're also a victim of 9 strikeouts.
Yeah, unfortunately, just didn't have it in the cards tonight. And credit to the YD Red Sox. They came in here and had some great pitching. Just 2 pitchers went for them. Cal Steven, 5 strong innings, was able to just surrender the 3 hits, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk, no runs. And Garcia with 12-out save. That's always really impressive. 4 innings, 2 earned runs, 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. They were both fantastic. The Harwich pitching, unfortunately, it just seemed like kind of a few people getting their land legs. Shea Sprague, that's what you're going to get out of him. That's what we saw in the previous outing against YD. Right around that 4 1/3, 4 2/3 mark. 3 earned runs, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts. And then Sean Hard was fantastic. 2 innings for him. No runs and 3 strikeouts to just the 1 walk. His signs were very encouraging. And then what did you make of both Sean Hard's outing and Gabe Van Emen's Cape Cod Baseball League debut?
Well, you have to consider that Hard bringing to his second outing here on the season, and then Van Emen making his debut, they were going to attack hitters, and that's what they did. You get 10 combined strikeouts in addition to what you saw out of your starter in Shea Sprague, who's already faced this Yarmouth Dennis lineup once, Devin. So you know that your pitchers are going after trying to get out of deep counts in addition to going into shallow counts as well, but you know that you have to be able to respond if you're an offense. That ground ball contact was present that this lineup faced for Yarmouth Dennis, and Yarmouth Dennis knew that, despite the fact that the Harwich Mariners had a fourth leading ERA. So they were looking to mix in that. And despite that, they didn't really have an opportunity just to get repaid or recompensed for that. And that's what you need in order to continue a winning streak in addition to getting a dominant start out of your starter.
That's just the way the cookie crumbled here tonight. Tomorrow night, we head to Falmouth after the 4-game homestand. The comforts of Al Graber Press Box will no longer be with us as we head to Arnie Allen Diamond. But Wyatt, going forward into tomorrow night on the road again, we've seen some high highs for Harwich, and now we're at some very low lows. Despite getting the win last night, did not play their best, and tonight they didn't play their best and were credited with the loss they deserve. What do they need to change heading into the game tomorrow against Falmouth in order to get back in the win column and try and recontrol first place?
This is a reminder that Harwich can ill afford to leave multiple runners on in the first handful of innings. Harwich actually left 4 on in the first 6 innings, and albeit it seems like a small number, maybe doesn't seem as harrowing as it does as if you left on 10 in the first half innings of a game. You certainly have to remind yourself that those left on can actually account for runs, of course, and you want to be able to put together some key hits with 2 out spots, in addition to the fact that you don't have any outs to work with. So it's not like you can look to a fly out, a ground out for sacrifice fly, sacrifice hits as well. The Mariners certainly have to go back to the drawing board. They have to look towards avoiding those strikeouts and just taking better pitches as well. The Mariners didn't work as many deep counts as you noticed in that 5-game win streak. So if you're Steve Engler, you've been around this program for a long time, 20th year head coach. Certainly just know that it's a blip on the scorecard. You have to be able to turn the page quickly in the Cape Cod Baseball League.
And that's something he's been able to do very humbly. We credited him on his 400 wins. He says, yeah, I also have more than 400 losses, a below 500 coach, and he's dealt with adversity. He's also won championships, so I'm sure we will get to see something special the rest of the way. But one last time, the win goes to Cal Stevens, Shea Sprague, the losing pitcher. Hector Garcia is credited with the save. Final box score, YD 5 runs on 8 hits, no errors. Harwich 2 runs on 6 hits with 1 error. That is where we will leave you back at it once again at Arnie Allen Diamond in Falmouth tomorrow. Tune into the Harwich Mariners YouTube network for that one. But on behalf of all our crew, our producer Sean Sears, my partner Wyatt Copeland, and myself, Devin Dobek, thank you so much for joining us on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. And always remember to live the dream. We'll see you next time.